BNB Binance coin is likely to roll over and go below $180. But today, I'm going to show you high level, sophisticated risk management, how to make small amounts of money when you're wrong, and how to make large amounts of money when you're right. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's dive straight into BNB, starting with the weekly chart. So before considering a trade, whether it's long or short, my minimum criteria is something called double time frame momentum. Like, what does that mean? There's thousands of momentum indicators, and they look something like this. There's quite a few of them. My favorite by far is the stochastics RSI. And what I want to show you today is something really simple but incredibly powerful. Like, it's gonna blow you away how simple this is, and that you should include this in your trade plan. When the red line goes, or the blue line goes below the red, above this black line, right? Above this black line, when it goes above, look what happens to the price, right? We get a sideways to down movement. When the blue line goes up below the red, what happens? Sideways to down movement. When the blue line goes below the red, guess what? Sideways to down movement. What do we have at the moment? Well, it looks like the blue line is going to go below the red. So what should we anticipate if the rhythm of the market of BNB continues? Well, it's sideways to down movement. Logical, mechanical, non-emotional. Right. All right, let's go with the trend. The trend is your friend. Let's ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. Very, very simple. So now we're going to go into a bit more detail because I said double time frame momentum. But before I do, I want to invite you to join me in the R15 Crypto Gym, where I'm doing a 30-day trial for £1. You get me as your elite crypto trader and trainer, where we do daily workouts on BNB coin, on Bitcoin, and a few other coins. You get access to my charts. You get access to my private Telegram. There's a phenomenal community, and you even get a boot camp. Loads of goodies in there. It's in the description link below, and we do detailed daily analysis on BNB, also Solana as well, and we're always just looking to add more and more value. So we've got our first time frame, which is the weekly chart, which is what we're looking on, is a higher degree time frame, and it says, okay, the weekly high, basically what we're saying here is the last bearish reversal, as in the blue line goes below the red, was in this zone, and that told us that the upside should be limited. Here, it looks like maybe next week or the following week, the blue line is probably going to go below the red, and it tells us that the upside should be limited. So what kind of trade should we be looking on? Should it be long trades or short trades? Well, you know the answer, right? If we just look at it from an objective standpoint, ignore the news, ignore the noise, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the fear of missing out, all that jazz, and we just look at the pure technical price position, we go, okay, if we're being logical about this, because I got a degree in mathematics and I'm a qualified math teacher, and I remember doing my A-levels and I got the top grade in the year for statistics, probabilities, independent events. So here we just look at this as an independent event, price action, sideways to down, right? And the reason I said we're likely to see it go below $180, because this low is $180. And if it does turn over and roll over, well, it's likely going to do this, right? So it's very simple, logical, no real emotion involved. So now let's just jump out of this chart and go into a daily chart. I keep my daily chart in the top right hand corner. By the way, if you want access to this analysis and all my chart setups, especially the weekly stochastics RSI, if you want the exact settings of the blue and the red line, and you can upload it into your own trading view, one of the things that we've got in the crypto gym is crypto charts. And one of them is Binance coin, BNB, my exact chart. So you'll get all of that included for your £1 trial, 30 days. Yeah, you get some amazing value. All right, so now we're going to just look at the daily momentum, right? So the weekly chart is a higher degree time frame, and it tells us like the macro trend. And now we want to look at like the intermediate or more immediate trend. And similar to the weekly chart, if we look at this in an objective, non-emotional way, and we go, what are these indicators doing, and is it helping us and giving us valuable information? Because I'm going to show you, because what we cannot have is a guarantee. Like, we cannot guarantee that it's going to roll over. It's always probabilities, no matter how good the analysis is, no matter how everything is lining up and looking perfect. But a part of that probability, if we just again look at this logically, daily momentum, the blue line crosses below the red, look what happens. There's a certain amount of downward movement. Blue line crosses below the red, certain amount of downward movement. Blue line crosses below the red, guess what? Downward movement. So now we've got the blue line crosses below the red. What should we anticipate as a minimum? And this is where the logic comes in on a higher level sophistication when it comes to risk management. Breaking even or making small amounts of profits or minimizing your losses when it doesn't unfold to the trend that's expected. And if it does, you make a lot of money. So this is how I want you to think from now on. We do not know. It's a random outcome of what's going to occur, right? We cannot say it's going to. It just looks like this is a correction of some sort. But because we got the weekly momentum turning over and we got the bearish reversal on the daily, and based on the previous rhythms of the momentum and these price movements, we can have a high probability of going, okay, this looks strong. That is likely going to at least do another movement like this, at least, right? So we take that into consideration. And then if it does that, we take some early profits in that zone. So then if the market does continue, which is absolutely a possibility, and goes above this high, we've locked in some profits where we minimize our capital exposure, possibly make a small profit overall, or break even, or take a small loss. Now, why would we do such a thing? Because there's a good probability that the market is going to continue to below this low, which is a significant move to the downside. If that occurs, we want to be able to ride that trend, add to our position, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to finish on one last thing. It's cool. You want to have, ideally, you don't want to buy at a fixed price. And what I mean by a fixed price is, even though everything looks good, rather than just buying right now, it's better practice for the market to trigger you in the direction that you're betting. So if we're betting short and we believe the market's going to go down, we want to have our entry as an order, either as a swing low or a one bar low, something along these lines. I've drawn this earlier. So this green line would represent that over here. This is a short trade entry. This will represent your risk. And where do you put a stop loss? Well, is basically ask yourself the question, what should the market not do if the trend is going to go down? Well, if we get triggered into this trade, what will void the trend? Well, it'll be the price going above here. So your stop loss doesn't need to be any higher than this point, and this will be your 2% risk or whatever you risk per trade. So then we'll manage our position half to assume that the market's only going to do something like this. So we go, okay, let's be ready for that. Half of our position, we want to take some early profits because we don't know. And then the second half of our position, we go, okay, there's also a good probability that the market's going to do something more like what we saw earlier with BNB, especially when you saw me do the 31-day follow me on BNB, a bigger move to the downside. And now if that occurs, again, that's going to be the second half of our position, and we manage it meticulously. And if you would like to see daily detailed workouts, I call it workouts because it's like financial health, physical health, financial health. We're doing daily workouts when it comes to BNB. And even if I show you, I think it's over here, this is the BNB workout of today. And, I've done a short video, it's around 2-3 minutes, is of the particular short trade entry points of what's high probability, what we're waiting for. And the notes are, we have our double time frame momentum conditions met. Trade set up short on a one bar low, stop loss above the last swing high, which is pretty much what we said already today. So if you want those, you can actually test it out for 30 days, £1. You get some amazing value, and you have me as your elite crypto trainer. And again, just emphasizing, we can only ever do probabilities and never certainties, but it's likely, let's finish on this, or highly probable that we're going to see BNB. This is like really likely, like this amount, like $250, $260 thereabouts. But it's also probable that we're going to see this low over here exceeded. And if it does, that's why we are saying it's likely that BNB has a good probability of going below this point, especially taking the double time frame momentum into consideration, sideways to down for the next few weeks. All right, so if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Do my best to bring you daily value, but really in a non-emotional way. So one of the best things about crypto is that the technical positions are just phenomenal. The psychology that's playing out, the ABC corrections, the market move in five-way sequences is just second to none. So that's great. It's probably the best market when it comes to technicals. The problem I'm seeing is that it's also the noisiest market in a sense of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. News, Twitter feeds, YouTube videos, mainstream media on crypto and everything else. And it's just crazy and frantic. And it's important to know that the news is designed to throw you off. Hence, when I do my trading, I ignore the news and I look at the pure price action, momentum, pattern, price ratios, Fibonacci time ratios, and that's it. So today what you saw was really we emphasized the double time frame momentum and an entry strategy. There's also some price ratios, some pattern ratios, and a few other time ratios as well, and a few other things that are coming into play. So join me tomorrow for the BNB workout in the R15 Crypto Gym, £1, 30 days. Let's finish on a quote. It's one of my favorites. It's chapter 5. The quote is by Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci, and he says this, and this is important, really, really important. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Less is more. Like I said at the beginning, there's thousands of indicators, thousands. And when I see people's charts, sometimes there's like so much going on the chart. I go, oh, wow, this is just confusing. Let's keep it simple. Let's look at double time frame momentum before we consider a trade that stacks the odds in our favor, where we become the casino, and the casino always wins because it has the edge. We look at pattern position. There's a couple of things in the bootcamp in the R15 Crypto Gym. You'll get some free training on Elliott waves that covers it in a bit more depth. But pattern is really, really key. But combine that with Fibonacci price and time ratios, then we got a nice, simple, consistent, easy to follow, mechanical process. And it can help us put our emotions to the side and just trade like a professional with proper risk management. That's where, because people are terrible at taking profits and tend to risk too much. Even when the trade setup looks fantastic, just risk too much. All right, so join me tomorrow for the BNB workout. Good job today. I'll see you tomorrow.